stands were a sea of orange as Dutch fans packed in for their first taste of A1 qualifying. Mexico went out and dominated the first two sessions.
Watch Salvador Duran for Mexico. He looks quick.
With the home nation chasing hard, along with France and Germany. By the third run, South Africa and their new driver, Adrian Zaug, had shown his true potential.
Good to watch, isn't he? Really is working that car hard.
That is one impressive young racing driver.
But even he was outshadowed by 19-year-old Nico Hülkenberg of Germany, who crossed the line in P1. The fourth run saw plenty of drama with a near miss from Team Greece and Pakistan. The final run could have gone to any one of 5 countries. Germany ended up in fourth, with France and Mexico just pipped by a spectacular run from rookie Adrian Zaug to give South Africa their first pole position.
And South Africa have taken pole position.
We did some mistake on the last sector and that cost us pole position, but that's part of racing, you know. Sometimes you're on the front, sometimes you're a bit on the back.
When we were not very quick, I said, look, leave the car like it is to my engineer. I think we have a good car, so let me just do the job and wait for me. So I'm happy with that.
I mean, I believe I can do it, but I gave me some more time to achieve that. But obviously, with the team and me, we worked very well and improved the car, and we did a great job together.
A1GP ventured into the autumn chill of Eastern Europe and the historic circuit of Brno. Team New Zealand and Johnny Reid struck the first blow. After qualifying 1 and 2, they were P1 with Germany chasing hard in second.
Cross the line and New Zealand goes quickest. Johnny Reid has put in a great effort for Team New Zealand.
The complex circuit proved tough for some, with India running wide. Great Britain and Robbie Kerr managed to fix their throttle problem and move up to the sharp end of the grid.
From 10th to 4th in one lap there for Great Britain.
But there was still plenty of countries battling it out. China got their best ever qualifying.
China 4th!
Malaysia confirmed their place in 3rd. That left just Germany and New Zealand. Despite locking up, Germany took P1.
They do take pole. He somehow got it back.
The Black Beauty was immediately unleashed, and a cool and composed lap from Johnny Reid gave New Zealand their first pole position.
New Zealand's taken it.
And we did a lot of good work. The whole team did really well and made the car so much better, and that's why we were P3 today.
I knew Johnny is consistent on that 45-0 laps. I was pushing very hard in the last run, but it wasn't enough.
I'm ecstatic right now. This is a fantastic result for Team New Zealand. We've worked hard since the Silverstone test, and today we've come up with the goods, so it's a fantastic feeling.
The streets of Beijing proved bumpy and brutal. One mistake either way and the walls were waiting. And there wasn't just drama on the track, there was also a fire in Team China. Alongside was a desperate Team France, besieged by engine problems and unable to get any higher than 21st position.
Things are not going according to plan, are they, for Team France this year?
We tried to change things on the car, but it didn't work. But yesterday night the mechanics changed absolutely everything on the engine and electric part of the car. So now everything is new. We will try it if it works this morning, and if it doesn't, we jump to the spare car.
Double race winner from the last round in Brno, Alex Young, driving for Team Malaysia, had a few eye-opening moments, and then a spin ended his efforts.
We had a roll bar that locked solid on us, and that's why I spun. And we had a gearbox that was jumping up 2 gears instead of 1. So that means we had to come in and we didn't get any time on the track.
But it wasn't just Malaysia who struggled, with Team Singapore and Brazil having a few moments themselves.
Oh, keep it. Oh, Rafael Matos got very wide onto the dirt.
Team Netherlands were consistent and handled the bumps better than most. Then a raised manhole cover caused the session to be stopped. The final twist to the tale was that this practice session actually became qualifying, much to the surprise of many teams who were still in old tyres, bedding in brakes and trying different setups. But it was Jeroen Bleekemolen who was quickest, giving Team Netherlands their first ever pole position.
I think in the end we were quickest. Okay, it was not normal qualifying, but I think even if we had a normal qualifying, then we would have been quite near the front or maybe even on pole. So we have the start behind the safety car, so yeah, you're going to go first into the first corner. If the car sticks together and you don't make any mistakes, then you have a big chance of winning.
The weather was on everyone's mind before the start of qualifying in Sepang. Soaring temperatures and spots of rain meant the first session was declared a wet one.
The weather is taking a turn for the worse. Watch the scramble now as they all desperate to try and get a quick lap in here in the early part of the session.
The drama started early on with Team Germany wiping out Ireland.
Oh, they hit each other!
Well,
how unnecessary is that?
Absolutely unnecessary indeed.
In session 2, it was the turn of South Africa and the USA.
They will be furious about that being held up on a lap when they were on the flying lap and South Africa was meant to be coming in.
Australia had a major off, with Ryan Briscoe doing well to get the car back onto the track.
Look at Alan's face. Man, that's going to cost me a ton of money.
The team worked relentlessly and got him back out for a final run. Meanwhile, it was all calm at the top. Switzerland had dominated from the start,
Neil Yarni is back.
with New Zealand holding their own in second. In fact, neither team went out in the final session. They'd done their work early on and secured their place at the front of the grid.
Switzerland and New Zealand on the front row. Another front row start for New Zealand.
It's actually my first qualifying this year, and to be just on pole and in Malaysia is even nicer.
This weekend's all about points for us. Bruno did not go to plan. You know, it happens from time to time, and we're looking forward to the race tomorrow.
I'm quite confident. I think we have a good car on long distance, and yeah. But first we have to finish the sprint race, and then I'm looking forward to the feature race. Yeah.
If Malaysia was muggy for the drivers, then Sentul was scorching as they tried to stay cool before qualifying. It was Team USA who set the early pace, but they were eclipsed by a stunning lap from Nico Hülkenberg and Team Germany.
Yes, he goes fastest.
In session 2, there was a major off for A1GP rookie Richard Lyons. Luckily, the damage wasn't as bad as it looked.
Talk about the luck of the Irish.
Unfortunately for Malaysia, Alex Yoong did exactly the same, again at turn 3. But staying firmly on track was Team New Zealand, who put in a great lap on old tyres.
Johnny Reid right on it.
Session 3 saw Great Britain and Germany leading the way. And whilst the Black Beauty was up by 0.7 of a second in the first sector, it just couldn't get pole position. Well, not quite yet anyway.
No, they don't do it.
A thrilling session 4 saw Johnny Reid put in a faultless lap.
Yes, he has. New Zealand takes pole.
Whilst Great Britain and Germany desperately tried to go quicker, they had to settle for second and third respectively.
Third place is very good. I'm satisfied. The team as well. You know, nothing is lost. We have two long races, and yeah, we'll see what we can do.
We could do times consistently, no matter what tyres we had on, new or old, and so we're happy with the car we've got. We know roughly where we are. It's just a matter to see what the weather does.
We were struggling there for a while, but we worked hard as a team and made some correct changes and got it right for qualifying. So I'm delighted to be on pole for the race.
It was a gentle start to qualifying in Taupo, with most of the drivers waiting to see how the circuit shaped up. It was slippery at the start, but as more rubber was laid down, things became quicker.
The later you go out, the better the track is going to be.
And it was Loic Duval and Team France who threw down the gauntlet to the other countries in session 1.
And France have found themselves yet another rapid driver.
Switzerland's young gun Sébastien Buemi was driving strongly.
And that's pretty much the second fastest individual lap.
As was the home nation New Zealand and Johnny Reid.
A great effort again from Johnny Reid.
He put in the fastest lap we'd seen so far, but it was still France who held P1, with Germany chasing hard. It all came down to the final half of qualifying.
Nico Hülkenberg for Team Germany. Across the line he goes fastest.
Mexico struggled with no clutch, but they weren't the only ones being pushed. The hard-chasing Team Netherlands left it late to go out, but a problem starting the engine meant they left it actually too late to qualify and had to abandon their lap as the checkered flag was waved on session 3. And the tension mounted. Could New Zealand take pole on home soil, or would another country come and spoil the party?
So he isn't on the front row, but he's well up there and the fans are still applauding.
It was Germany and Nico Hülkenberg who secured pole position, with France behind and New Zealand having to settle for the second row of the grid in Taupo.
A third, I'll take it, and I'll put it into valuable points and try and push for the win, but let's see what happens.
Yeah, maybe I lost the pole position here on the last corner. I made a mistake and I was straight off to the grass, but we are on the first line, so it will be tough, but I'm happy to be here and I take it.
On pole, that's perfect. Even in free practice we were tough. We are good on long distance. The team is doing everything. They're preparing a very good car, they're doing a good job, and I'm very happy with them.
As the sun beat down on the Eastern Creek Raceway, the drivers kept cool before things really hotted up on track. Johnny Reid in New Zealand put in a textbook lap.
Only a tenth of a second slower than the fastest time we saw last year by Team France.
Team USA had been pushing hard, a little too hard, with Phil Giebler missing the corner. Session 2 saw France first out of the big hitters, and it was an impressive lap by Loic Duval. But just seconds later, New Zealand reclaimed the top spot.
Now New Zealand go fastest.
The tension really started building in session 3. Germany went out early and set the pace, taking pole from New Zealand. Great Britain moved up to third ahead of France. Italy had always looked like qualifying in the top 6 before this off in session 4.
He was too wide, too early in the exit of the corner.
The tension though was for the top spot, and Nico Hülkenberg put in a fantastic lap, becoming the first car into the 117s.
But New Zealand are on the attack as well. Can Johnny Reid do it again? Is he going to take pole position across the line? He goes, no! And Germany has pole.
Johnny Reid took second, and a gutsy effort from Robbie Kerr saw him taking third from France.
We had a good session with older tyres earlier in the weekend, and we were competitive there, and we're sure we got a good car for the race.
It's not the top spot that I was looking for early on in the piece, but you know, I'm looking forward to the race. We can do a good job from there.
We are trying our best. You never know. If you look at the practices, at the lap times from long distance, it looks all very close and similar. There are other tough nations, so it will be a hard battle, I think.
Whilst the Indian Ocean provided a tranquil backdrop, the A1GP drivers started a street fight in Durban. Session 1 began in dramatic fashion with Narain Karthikeyan and Team India falling victim to the ferocity of the curbs. Germany went quickest with a strong lap from Nico Hülkenberg, but a stunning lap from Indonesia saw Ananda Mikala up to second. Matt Halliday lay down the law at the start of Session 2 with the fastest lap so far, but Germany stayed ahead in grid position. Singapore's spin meant another red flag and a ruined chance for many of the frontrunners, including France, Switzerland and South Africa. Just as the cars got back out on track for Session 3, China's off-roading meant another red flag. That resulted in a traffic jam of cars, but Germany, New Zealand and Switzerland still managed to get into the 117s with just 0.3 of a second between the three. Another great lap by Matt Halliday was good enough to take pole until this man, Nico Hülkenberg, put in the quickest lap all day. There was still time for one more red flag, which meant Switzerland and France had to wait to battle it out. But Loic Duval managed the second quickest time of the day, securing France third place on the grid.
I'm really confident. The car looks really good, and we were always on the top this weekend. So I think we can win this race.
It's nice to be back in the chair. To be honest, it's been a wee while out of the car. It's nice to be back to show what I can do to everybody.
I'm pretty confident for tomorrow, but it won't get easy because there are a lot of good drivers and we all close together. So it will be a nice race and a lot of nice battles, I think.
The tension mounted before qualifying at the Autodromo Hermanes Rodriguez. Those who thought Germany would be off the pace without their star Nico Hülkenberg were to be disappointed.
Christian Vittoris, how's he going to do? He goes second. What a great first effort.
Malaysia and the experienced Alex Young laid down the law, becoming the only car to get into the 126s. And Great Britain's driver Ollie Jarvis put his qualifying fears to bed and netted second place so far.
Great first effort by Ollie Jarvis for Team Great Britain.
Session 2 saw more surprises. New Zealand, who had a bad first run, didn't get any better this time either. Meanwhile, Australia's new boy Ian Dyke put his country up to 4th. But again, success went east and to Alex Young, with Germany taking back the second spot from Great Britain. A red flag for a Pakistan spin meant Session 3 was halted early on. Great Britain made P2 theirs despite a strong run from Team Germany. Malaysia continued to dominate in stunning style, but Mexico laid down their claim with a great run from local hero Salvador Duran.
He's up to 8th, good effort.
And in the final run, Mexico went up to 4th. Alex Young was supreme in all sessions, claiming pole, and the battle for the second spot was taken by Germany, with Ollie Jarvis and Great Britain having to settle for 3rd.
Yeah, we're very strong over the longer runs. Not so on the qualifying runs, but certainly in the feature race we'll be very strong.
Of course, the car was already good on Friday, and we was able to improve the car until now. And looking forward to the race, and hopefully we finish on the podium.
The balance of the car is key. You need, for the quick sweepers, you need really good balance through there. But for the race, you just need to be quick through that last corner.
Shanghai Straight became a wind tunnel before the start of qualifying as the weather closed in. As normal, Germany and New Zealand set the early pace, but it was a shock, stunning lap by Team USA and 18-year-old driver Jonathan Somerton who went fastest.
What a brilliant effort that is by Jonathan Somerton.
Teams were forced to make changes to the cars before qualifying too. Home team China showed some early form, whilst Germany pushed USA to 3rd. New Zealand and Johnny Reid went out on old tyres, but what could they do?
That is our new fastest lap of the day.
In Session 3, potential championship winner Nico Hülkenberg and Team Germany could only manage 4th best.
Let's see what it does, and that was no improvement.
Whilst Great Britain and Robbie Kerr jumped into the top 3. New Zealand held on to provisional pole from the USA, but in the final session there was all to play for. Germany could not improve on their time, but New Zealand could, and did in impressive style. But as the team were celebrating, Great Britain was still out on track.
He is on a mega lap, and he's done it! Great Britain takes pole position!
Hopefully this weekend I can get a win, and I'm really looking forward to it. And the sprint race, we'll just stay clean and get a good grid position for the feature.
A little bit disappointing to lose out in the last segment, but that's motor racing. We didn't quite nail the balance at the end there.
It's going to be fantastic. We're on the right side of the grid for the rolling start, and so we've got the inside line going into the first corner, and we've just got to go out there and make it count.
The tension was obvious before the final qualifying of this A1 GP season. USA had been quick all weekend, but pushing too hard meant Jonathan Somerton paid the ultimate price.
He's lost it!
The red flag saw all cars coming out on the circuit together. Great Britain were quick on home soil, but Team France and Loic Duval were desperate to spoil the party.
No, France! France has just gone quicker!
Session 2 saw more drama, with Germany aborting their lap after an error from Nico Hülkenberg. But a stunning lap from Team Italy and Enrico Toccacello put them in the running for pole position.
Wow.
Fastest single lap by Team Italy.
In session 3, the fight really began. France were still on top until a faultless lap from Robbie Kerr kept Great Britain on course for pole. Into the final session, and who would have thought he would have had an off on his outlap? Flirting with the barriers but avoiding contact, he cleaned his tyres and cleared his mind and went on to produce a copybook lap.
He's done it! A 1:14.5!
Giving pole position to a home nation for the first time in A1 GP.
Yeah, it was nice. Unfortunately, we are only third, but we had some oversteering problem and we didn't find it before the last one. So I think that's why we are third. But I did my best, and everything is possible for tomorrow.
We're here to trying to catch the big trophy. So we're starting from P2. Anything is possible.
It was absolutely great, and I'm absolutely so over the moon to be on pole position, representing the country, home race. You just can't get any better, and now we just got to focus on the races and bring it home.